However, you also told me that you never attended an academy. Why did you not choose to take an academy? How did you manage without one? So can you give us an overview of everything? How much time did you take on your preparation with everything you mentioned? How relevant are those mocks? Because do you think are they good when you say you're taking free mock comes with examination, mannequin, and Simmons stations? So how did you manage them without an academy? So there are some people who are not actively practicing at the moment. What is it that you would like to tell?
Time-consuming journey, and I'm glad that we are all
You did it. Yeah, we did it. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Spinach, and today I'm here with our special guest, that is Michelle. Now, Michelle is a medical practitioner who just passed out her Plab 2 examination and is in the process to become a medical doctor in the UK. Michelle comes from Malaysia. Let's say hi to Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Dr. Spinach. Hi, everyone.
How are
My
you
name is
doing today?
Michelle.
Yes.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on passing your exam.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for your time today. So how are you feeling after passing your exam?
Well, of course, I was feeling really happy about it, and I'm also very glad that it has all the hard work has paid off.
Yeah.
So of course it's a very, it's a very long and time-consuming journey, and I'm glad that we are all
you did it. Yeah, we did it. Yeah. So I remember Michelle, I think we met maybe 2 weeks before our exam. And I remember you made me practice with you while I was partially intoxicated and sleep deprived just a day before your exam. What do you have to say about it? So Michelle, I knew that you would make it. I was pretty sure because when I saw you practicing, you were really good at it. However, you also told me, However, you also told me that you never attended an academy, and I was surprised by that. Why did you not choose to take an academy at all?
Basically, the reason why I didn't choose an academy in the beginning is that first thing for me, financial considerations, because I know that joining an academy it requires you to pay the academy, and we also have to be there a few months prior, or even like months or 2 months prior, basically attend the academy in order to fully utilize all the resources and everything like that. So I, particularly at that time, I was not really able to make time for it, to go 2 to 3 months prior to the UK. So that is why I consider not to take any academy for this reason.
Yeah, so you mentioned financial and time constraints were your major reasons for that. So that follows the second question, that is, how did you manage without one? So can you give us an overview of everything you might have done? And then I'll ask some particular questions which you might not have covered in your answer.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So basically I know that, without joining an academy, it might put me at a, maybe a not so advantageous position, because I will not be exposed to all the, resources and stuff. That is why I was actually very actively looking for free resources that I can get. So I joined in many Telegram groups, Facebook groups that are focused on Plab 2 preparations. And often the times I will gain my resources from there, especially the study resources and resources shared by other candidates. And from this group, I also have access to some of the free mock webinars from different academies, and from doctors who actually organize some free mocks for people who are attending Plab 2. So these are my active resources, since I didn't have an academy, but these are my active resources that I get in order to prepare for my Plab 2.
So how much time did you take on your preparation with everything you mentioned?
when I first started about 3 months ago, I was just looking through the resources that I have, and I planned a timeline for which like I specify what are the topics that I should cover in a day-to-day basis, but
Right.
in a short time span because I'm working full time. So I did not really press myself into study a full day, but instead like 1 to 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I did it. Just 1 month before the exam, I was not working anymore. So that is when I fully dedicated all my time to the Plab 2 preparation.
Right. So it was a time-consuming journey, but I just want to mention some things to our listeners here that I have asked Michelle particularly not to mention what academy resources she has used, because we're not sponsoring any academy here. And the other thing is as well that there are no top-notch academies for Plab 2 as well, which I would recommend. Every academy is, I would say, mostly average. So why I liked Michelle's approach was because she actually had a very different approach from the candidates who practice in a particular academy. So, for example, one academy gives a way to practice, another one gives us another approach to practice. But because she combined the resources from all the academies, that is why she had a unique approach to practice. Would say saying that will be all right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And can you tell us how many stations you passed and what were your scores and what were the passing scores as well?
I passed 11 out of 16 stations, and the scores required to pass was about 98, and I passed around 118 scores.
That's a very good one, definitely. Yeah, and then there's another question that comes after you mentioned that you were actually taking, mocks, free mocks and stuff from everywhere. But can you tell us how relevant are those mocks? Because
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think as Dr. Spinach has mentioned, I took a few mocks, and actually free mocks, in the sense it actually gave me a lot of idea about how Plab 2 stations is or are, because from the free mocks I get to see how people generally perform when the doctor conducted free mocks. So I have a general idea on how do I approach those stations. That was in the beginning and also in the middle part of preparation, where I usually attend the free mocks on a weekly basis just to
Right.
see, yeah, just to gauge how a Plab 2 exam is going on and how other candidates do. And also I kind of like also learn from how other candidates perform as well. And on the other hand, I also sign up for a few paid mocks as well, because I do realize that even though I did not join any academy, I feel that it is still important to me to kind of stimulate the whole exam vibes and scenario for myself. So that is why I sign up for a few paid mocks just for this purpose, to let me familiarize with the exam situation.
Conditions. Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. So, and how did you manage to find practice partners for you?
Okay, in this sense, I was really lucky because from my medical school, I do have about 3 peers who are doing this with me. So we went to the UK together, and of course, we do share resources, and we are each other's practice partners. Yeah, so the time when we were in the UK, we stayed together and we actually practiced a lot with each other.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do, found, Dr. Spinach and found Dr. Spinach, and I also have a few friends through online. So
Right.
that is how I actually gain feedbacks from people, not just with my practice partners, but from my friends from, other parts of the world as well.
Right. When you are not taking an academy, the major problem comes with examination mannequin and Simmons stations. So how did you manage them without an academy?
Well, a little background about myself as well, because I was actually working part-time back in my medical school. So I do have access to those mannequins before I came to the UK. So prior to that, I actually practiced with those models and I tried to familiarize everything before I went to the UK, just so that I do not have to practice too much on mannequins after that. But for those probably who do not have this kind of facility, privilege, what I did is that after in the UK, I also actively looked through the videos online in YouTube's, especially on procedures and also Spinach, just to familiarize myself with the with how a procedure is carried out again. And I also do try to verbalize and try to do all the things using, anything that you can find, like pen, just to stimulate a needle, things like that. So that is how I, try to be hands-on about it when I was in the UK.
That's a very good answer. Although, of course, not everyone, as you said, has the privilege to get to practice on mannequins and buying mannequins on Amazon. I thought to buy mannequins for venipuncture on Amazon. But they are so expensive, Michelle.
Right?
So I was like, okay, just let it go. But then, of course, what you said that you can make stimulate using things that are around you. Yes, like pen or maybe I don't know, maybe pillows. But then again, I have a question for you. Like that you mentioned that you were practicing before you started actually with the Plab 2 preparation. So you had all the facilities that you can use in your medical school. And people also do practice. They might be just practicing as a medical practitioner. But let's say there are some people who are not actively practicing at the moment. What would you tell them? What is your recommendation to them? Because I don't feel very good when people say that, oh, you've been practicing as a doctor. For everyone, maybe not everyone is practicing as a doctor as of now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what is it that you would like to tell them?
Well, I really think this depends on how comfortable you are with the procedural skills that you have. Because for me, I just recently graduated. So I would say that the practical skills that I have is kind of still retained in my mind. But for those doctors who probably are not, out from the medical practice for a while or anything like that, I think maybe you can try to revise the procedural skills from, like I said, the online sources that you can get. But essentially, I would still think it is up to them to basically gauge how confident they are with the models, because essentially it is really how you manipulate your hands-on skills. So I would say that if some doctors, they do think that they would need help in that, then they would probably have to get some resources on that as well. Like you say, maybe buy some mannequins if they can afford. But I would think this is really like a personal basis.
I guess what I can summarize from what you said is most of it is about practice. Because anyways, we are practicing on mannequins. It's not a real person that we are practicing on. So it's all about practicing and having those skilled hands so that you can perform in the exam.
And also one thing to note is because for doctors who are out of medical field for quite some times, and sometimes I do find myself struggle with the equipments. Because actually, for example, like in Malaysia, we usually use just needle and syringe for venipuncture. So we not have all the vacuum Tainer holders, and also butterflies. These are not not the equipments that we usually exposed to in my medical school time.
Yeah.
So that actually posed some difficulties for us. So we will have to, just look at YouTube videos to see how it's done and try to familiarize ourselves with the new equipment as well.
Right. Thank you for that, Michelle. Now we would really like to know, what are your future plans, Michelle?
I've cleared Plab 2 at this point, so the future plan would just be next step would be for situational judgment test for me, and if everything goes well, then hopefully I'll be able to start my foundation year 1 by next year, 2023.
So you said something about situational judgment test. Is that necessary for you?
Yeah, for everyone who needs to go through this, I think for foundation year training, we will have to go through an online test. So I do not have to be physically present in the UK, but it's an online test, or you can also opt for a center here in where you are residing.
Is it
actually have the
Is it for both FY1 and FY2, or is it just for FY1?
This I'm not very sure. Yeah, but I know in order for us to be for FY1, we have to do the situational judgment test. But if I'm not mistaken, if you are opting for a FY2 standalone, they do need a situation judgment test as well.
Okay. Right. Thank you for that. So just for everyone to know, Michelle has not done her internship in her medical school. So that is why she will opt for FY1. So yeah, that is all. So people might think that people usually go, like for me, I will go into FY2 if I'm going to apply for my jobs, but Michelle is going to go into FY1. I'm just going to summarize what Michelle said to us. Well, when I asked her about how she managed to find practice partners, she said that, well, she was lucky enough, but then she met people around in the UK, as well as she was in Facebook groups and Telegram groups, and also joined some of the WhatsApp groups for free mocks. So that is how she actually managed without an academy. She did take some paid mocks just to make herself familiarized by how the exam works, basically for the exam conditions. And well, she made it without an academy, and she used all the resources from different free resources, free materials from all around, so that she can make her own way of coming up with things. So thank you so much, Michelle, for all of this. Thank you for your time. And I hope that you achieve everything you want in your future. All success to you. Well, if people have any other questions here, they can post it in the comment section on my YouTube channel. And please like and subscribe to my channel. And well, I'll say bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle.